In today's video, I would like to chat about what would I do differently if I need to start over my career as a project manager. This is actually the question that I have been asked pretty much frequently, and I have been reflecting on this idea of if I knew everything that I know today, how would I approach my career path differently, or what would I do differently from the very start? Based on that, I have come up with 5 steps or 5 tips that I would give to myself back in 2015, and I would like to share them with you so that you will have those ideas on hand, and hopefully that's gonna be helpful for some of you to improve your career development plan, or more probably to think about your career from a little bit different perspective and gain some more ideas from what I'm sharing with you guys here. So let's get started. By the way, I'm testing the new mic. It's right here. I don't know how it's gonna go, so let me know in comments what are your thoughts and if you feel that the sound quality was improved. Okay, getting to my tips directly. Number one in my list, and this is luckily I have managed to do, and I would probably not change it in my background, and this is landing the first job. So what I did in my career back in 2015, I started to instantly look into the career opportunities, and I landed the job from the get-go. Basically, I started wild with no experience at all, but what I would do differently, I would make a proper research and analyze all pros and cons from the offers in the market, and probably to choose kind of a different approach, so I would tweak it in the way that I'm going to share with you right now. So I have a list in front of me. What would I need to do in order to land the first job, or at least to land the first interview? That's definitely should have been a really thoughtful approach, and initially I would find the right roles. And to find the right roles, I would definitely need it to make the proper research about the niche in the market. So yes, this should have been a software development company, but even from this perspective, there are multiple niches the software development company could fall into. This could be a product company, this could be a service company. What type of product this is, what type of services this company is offering in the market. There are a lot of variances that would impact the next steps in my career development plan. I would choose the exact niche or niches I would be interested in. I would choose the companies that would respond to my requirements in order to build my career development plan. And I would also probably think about the departments within those companies that would be of interest for me. And when I have all this list of information, like what niche I'm going to work at, what are the companies I'm interested in, what departments would respond to my needs from the professional standpoint, and then I would start digging into the roles those companies are offering right now, or potentially, if there are no roles, I would consider a possibility to reach out directly to those companies, to the HR from the specific departments, and highlight how much interested I am in joining the company, and which is not less important, outline how my experience and background could be helpful for them. Getting to the experience and background, that's definitely crucially necessary to analyze your background, and you need to be realistic. If this is your first job, chances are you do not have a lot of experience under your belt. This means that you need to analyze what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And keeping that in mind, you need to also compare it and put it on top of the roles that are currently in the market, and define what is the percentage of the requirements you can cover with your background and what are the actual gaps. And again, be realistic about that. When you realize what are your strengths and weaknesses, time to update your CV or resume. By the way, make sure to check this episode to find out what are the common mistakes people make while updating their resume, and also you will find there the suggestions on how to fix your resume so that's gonna be catchy and that's gonna attract the attention of the recruiters. Make sure that you're highlighting your strengths in your CV, your achievements and your accomplishments, but do not forget about the gaps in your experience. You do not need to put them in your CV, but you need to keep a list of them to work on it moving forward. Once your CV is ready and you are ready to send it over to the recruiters in the companies that you are interested in, next step is to start getting prepared for interviews. These days, interviews kind of different than they were several years ago. I do not know whether they are more complicated or more facilitated these days, but what's common, you're most likely gonna be asked about your experience, and being a manager, chances are that the majority of the interview process would be dedicated to the behavioral part. This means that you need to pick the good examples from your background that would highlight the actual leadership skills that you would like to demonstrate to the potential employer. Make sure to dedicate some time to allocate those sparkles in your background and to cover each of those spots in your experience in a story. What was the context of the situation? What was your task, like what you needed to do in order to achieve the goals? What were the actions that you have taken and what was the actual result? And what is not less important, we are learning on our mistakes and we are learning on our success. This means that you need to also allocate the lessons learned from each specific situation and reflect on what potentially you would do differently or how would you scale this experience to help more people with your success. The suite of tips number 2 is related to the professional development plan. Here I actually separated those tips into 2 branches. Improvement plan to cover the gaps that you have in your experience. Remember, you're at the junior level right now and you need to identify how to grow professionally. And another one that's gonna be a suite of tips number 3 is coming up with a career development plan. So initially, let's focus on the improvement plan and on the plan how to get rid of the professional gaps that you currently have in your experience. If you remember, in the exercise number 1, we were working on defining the strengths and weaknesses. The strengths we have been putting in the CV, the weaknesses we have been putting in a separate list to work on them moving forward. Now this is the right moment to pull out this list of gaps and to review it carefully. So how actually could you work with this list of gaps? Actually, your list of gaps is your scope. So we need to break it down, we need to decompose it into the smaller chunks of actionable items, and we need to prioritize them in order to identify which of those potential improvements are going to bring the most value to you at this specific point. The very first thing we need to understand is if you are aware of the project management fundamentals. This is the basic, the bread and butter of what you're going to do at work. You need to understand how the project delivery cycle works, how the software development cycle works. Make sure to check out this episode where I'm breaking down what the junior project manager should know, as I have been creating this list of fundamentals from my personal experience as well. And believe me, I'm working in this field almost 8 years and I know what I'm talking about. And what's going to be the tools for you in order to close those gaps? Like, what can you use in order to gain more experience and more knowledge in project management? Definitely, first thing is courses, and do not hesitate to use free materials like blogs, YouTube blogs, knowledge sharing with your peers. By the way, one of the huge advantages at the second role that I had as a project manager was a possibility to exchange the knowledge. because I was lucky to get into the company where we had several PMs with different levels of experience, and luckily our managers were organizing weekly events when we were getting together, sharing experience on the projects that are currently active. That was the huge advantage, that was a huge help to me in order to learn from different people on what challenges they're facing and how do they approach those challenges. And if they do not have a solution, we were discussing all together what potential solution could be in this specific situation. So that was like the game changer for me, and what I'm referring to right now and suggesting to you as well, if you do not have those events in the company that you're currently working in, find an opportunity for this knowledge exchange. This could be workshops, this could be networking, this could be simple coffee chats with your colleagues. Make sure to gain the possibility of sharing knowledge and discussing the learning curves, the lessons learned, and work on a kind of a project management retrospective, and perfectly if you can do this collaboratively with other PMs or with your manager. Another thing that I would like to touch base on is certifications. I mean, professional certifications. I have a lot of people who are asking me, like, do I need to get this or that cert in order to succeed as a project manager? I would say having a cert is an investment from both financial and time perspectives, and you need to realize how much this would be helpful for you at your current career stage and in your career moving forward before diving into it. And there are actually multiple approaches. I'm not insisting that my approach would be the best one for you, but this could be an alternative perspective, an alternative point of view that you can consider while coming up with your actual professional development plan. Myself, I'm PMP certified, and I earned the certification after 3.5 years in the field, specifically because this certification requires having the certain amount of experience behind before you're eligible to take the test. But the problem is that when I started, as I have mentioned, I didn't make any proper research. So I was working wild the first couple of years for sure. And I even didn't know there were any opportunities to get certified and to confirm your project management knowledge and experience. I found out about this certification like down the road when I was 2 years in project management, and at this specific stage when I started to learn about the possibilities for getting certified, I realized like, hey, I'm already in, I'm working as a project manager, and it doesn't seem to me reasonable that I need to take a certification right away rather than waiting for the certain period of time, getting prepared and taking the test that I was up to. My point here is that there are multiple certifications, multiple opportunities to get certified in the various fields. And I do have a video about the most popular certifications. I was recording this a while ago, but to me it looks like this is still up to date. If you're just getting started as a project manager, potentially there could be an alternative path for you to get certified instantly with the certifications that do not require any background as a project manager from the start. Potentially, this could be the CAPM by Project Management Institute. I'm not advertising this. I am just aware of this certification because A, I'm certified by the Project Management Institute. B, I know that this is one of the most demanded certifications these days. This specific certification doesn't require any specific background as a project manager. The requirement was, at the moment when I was studying it, to complete the professional education, and this could be fulfilled with a professional course. And with this, you would basically hit 2 rabbits at once. First, with this course, you will learn the fundamentals about project management, and that could help you like closing a couple of gaps from your list. Secondly, you will get certified instantly with a globally recognized certification, and that could be an advantage for you from the professional development perspective, keeping in mind that you still do not have any experience, or if you have just few experience and you are still at the junior level, but you will already know the fundamentals and you will be certified, which could be advantages for you from the professional standpoint, while employers are going to select from the amount of candidates potentially that could help you to stand out. And again, fundamentals is not just the only thing that you need to know. The key to the success is to continuously enhance your experience and your knowledge about the field and specifically about the niche that you're working in. So learn the trends, network, and continuously enhance your educational basis. Suit number 3, career development plan. Let's imagine you have already landed the first job, you started working as a project manager. You have come up with a plan on how are you going to close your professional gap, so you know exactly what steps you're going to take in order to develop yourself professionally. It's really time to think about the career opportunities that you have in front of you. What I'm referring to here is not only the part when you're working on your professional growth yourself, but also about the company, what this company is able to offer for you as for the professional and as for the employee. To begin with, as I have mentioned, if you're already in the company, the very first thing that I would do is to analyze whether I see myself in this company in the future. Hopefully, I already had a possibility to learn about the values, the principles, the culture within the company. And this means that I was able to map it on my own values and principles and to find out if there is a good match between my values and the company values. This helps me to realize whether I will feel myself comfortable working further in this company in a long run. I cannot facilitate enough how much the culture of the company is important, even if you have the mind-blowing opportunities for professional growth. If you do not feel comfortable working in this environment, chances are that those professional growth opportunities would not worth your time investment, your personal investment into this company in order to continue working together. So make sure to analyze how much comfortable from the mental perspective you feel yourself within this company, and if you see yourself in the future in this company growing together. If you feel really good about continuing working in this company, think about the realistic opportunities of the professional growth within. Firstly, find out what are the options are offered publicly. Probably there is a company map where you can see the roles and responsibilities, and to find out what is the actual career growth ladder within the company. Talk to your HR, talk to your manager, and define what are the professional growth paths and opportunities this company is able to offer. And not only this, make sure to talk to your manager about the ways that will help you as a project manager to grow professionally. What are the criteria, what are the requirements for you to step to the next level. So make sure you're pretty much transparent about it, and make sure you understand what are the required next steps for you to hop to the next stage of your professional growth within this company. Great scenario is that you like this plan and you understand how are you going to move forward in order to meet the requirements and to hit your goal. Another scenario is that you are not really interested in growing further because probably the growth opportunities are not that much attractive within the company, or maybe you thought that you would like to change the niche, or maybe you have any personal circumstances that would force you to change the company. If this is not your path to grow within the company, think about the options, how you could grow professionally within another company or within another niche. So there is a huge separate exercise on doing that, but without clear understanding on where are you going professionally moving forward, it's going to be really challenging to actually grow, as you would not know where would you need to go and whether the steps that you currently have in front of you are going to apply to this professional growth plan. So do your homework, learn the professional growth opportunities from the career development perspective, and define how your professional growth plan match with the career growth plan and adjust those directions if needed. Suit number 4, it may also correspond with suit number 5, but let's focus on number 4 right now. And here my suggestion is to start documenting your journey. And there are actually several reasons for that. That would help you to reflect on your actual progress and to identify what was wrong and what was right. That's the huge exercise. I'm not saying that's an easy exercise, but this is a huge advantageous exercise to help you learn from your personal background. I was saying that's really important to learn from others, that's true. But if you're not able to learn from your experience, that's going to be a problem. So in order to do this, the very first step that you would want to do is to start recording your experience, probably not publicly, probably for yourself only, but start doing this as soon as possible. So as soon as you're completing the very first project, make sure you record everything, make sure you analyze the result and define the learning opportunity and what could be done differently next time. Also, that's gonna be cool if you could scale it to your team as well and work on retrospectives and implement it as like regular activities, but this is an absolutely different story. Just start from yourself first. Another thing why it's really important, and I was talking about this in several videos, is to start creating your success diary. There are a lot of advantages with this activity as well. Let me highlight them to you. Firstly, that would help you to realize how much you have managed to achieve and to recognize your accomplishments. That's really important from the professional standpoint, not only like to dig all the time, but also to celebrate successes. And from another perspective, that will give you a nice record of your achievements and accomplishments when it comes to the review within your company. In many companies, there are processes that are focused on reviewing the results of the employees in order to define whether they meet the expectations, whether they underperforming or whether they exceeding the expectations. And from this perspective, that helps the company to understand whether they are going to promote these employees to the next career stage or whether they are going to come up with the professional improvement plan. So my point here, if you're going to continuously record your achievements, that would help you to come up with evidence of your professional growth during the period of time and to pass this review successfully. Be thoughtful, think up front about the opportunities that could pop up in front of you, and make sure to record what you have passed through in order to learn from it and in order to have the evidence of your success. And the suite of tips number 5 from me is to start sharing your experience and to start exchanging the knowledge as soon as possible. This is the next step of recording your experience, as once you recorded it and analyzed the results, you are able to come up with the resolutions. Remember one of the tips from the very start, like learn from the experience of others. Now it's time for you to share your experience and to help others learn from it. And again, knowledge exchange doesn't work one way only. So once you're sharing your knowledge, you're also able to learn from others. The more you talk about your experience, the better you understand what was right, what was wrong, and that would also help you to grow and professionally plan your further career development stages, as you will constantly be able to review and analyze the progress and the results. So advantages are everywhere. Make sure to record your journey and make sure to share your experience with others. Guys, I hope that was helpful. Let me know in comments at what professional stage you currently are and what's gonna be your next steps. So I would love to learn about this. As I have mentioned, I really love reading your comments, so do not hesitate to reach out to me right below to this episode, and see you in the next one.